These young people today, they're looking for careers that are more than financial stability. They're more than security. They want stuff that's fulfilling beyond the number crunching and that historical focus and that emphasis on compliance. Accountants are the guardians of data, the advocates of business, and the advisors that help guide strategic decisions. This is a call to action to educators, to influencers, to industry leaders, to vendors, to all the different stakeholders, particularly in firms, to come together and reimagine what a 21st century accountant should be. Do we have enough accountants in the world to fill the talent gap and block those labor shortages and save the accounting profession going forward with all the millions of businesses out there in so many different countries? I'm talking today on the Accounting Talent Podcast about the brand of accounting and whether accounting is in crisis. There's quite a debate going on amongst various professional bodies, state societies, and governing regulatory concerns about what is happening with the pipeline of accounting, these steering groups, these forums, these online discussions. And we're talking about these crucial issues that affect the recruitment and retention of talent in the accounting profession. I'm Rob Brown, and today we're diving deeper into this topic that's been making waves in the industry, in the profession, the shortage of accountants, the challenges that the profession is facing in attracting new talent. And there's a lot going on. Jeff Phillips, my co-host, and I, comes on occasionally from Accounting, but I've talked about the weak brand of accounting. We'll touch on that today. But certainly the profession is grappling with a significant talent crisis that's been brewing for some years, but it's now reached a critical point. A quick look at the numbers. The number of students graduating with accounting degrees, that's going down, particularly in the United States, but in the UK and other countries as well. People are just not taking accounting degrees. They're not taking masters. It's a global phenomenon. Many countries reporting similar declines in the interest in accounting as a career choice. Now, that's not just accounting. I was having a conversation just yesterday. I've got two daughters, 20 and 21. And all of their friends are a lot of their friends are at university. And we talked about the power of a marketing degree. Now, one of my daughter's friends is taking a degree in sports marketing. And we asked the question, how relevant will that be in getting her a job when she comes to graduate? Because if you are a sports company that need marketing expertise, would you go to a graduate, or would you actually go to some Gen Z person that's been playing on TikTok and Instagram for the last 3 or 4 years and knows that platform inside out? And you then start to talk, don't you, about the relevance of a degree in something, because the people that teach you on a degree, the lecturers, the professors, they've all got masters and qualifications like this coming out of their ears. However, how current are they? Are they on those platforms, social media platforms, on the very edge of digital marketing in a way to inform you? And how out of date is what they're teaching on a 3-4 year bachelor's degree? How out of date is that by the time it finishes? So if you're a sports company looking for a marketing professional, why do you need a graduate? Same thing, if you're an accounting firm looking for an accountant, do you really need an accountant? Do you need someone with a CPA or ACCA qualification? Do you need someone with a 4-year degree or a master's degree? Or do you just need somebody that is so on top of artificial intelligence and cyber and crypto and data analysis and just super smart people that don't have an accounting qualification? So we're talking about that kind of debate. So it speaks to the perception of accounting as a profession. And for years, this is well accepted now. There's been an image problem. Accountants are viewed as boring and unexciting. I was reading a piece in an accountancy journal, and it said this. I'm just reading from it on the screen now. And it quoted Monty Python, which just made me smile. Do you all remember Monty Python? It said, the accounting profession has historically had an image problem. In the Monty Python comedy sketch, and now for something completely different, refers to an accountant as boring, and if I remember it, he wants to be a lion tamer instead, this accountant. And there was another article quoted that says, why you never saw Charles Bronson cast as a hero accountant? Because it's too dull for the screen. Now, Charles Bronson, he's not in the game now, but he played this really tough guy when he was on screen. And apart from Ben Affleck, I seem to remember in an accounting role, there's not really been, it doesn't have that image, does it? That sexy image. So we do have this poor image of accounting as dull and unexciting. And what am I reading here? In quality and quantity of accounting students and the stereotypical accountant, accountants are described as negatively stereotyped in books, movies, plays, television shows. That negative image of an accountant persists today, even though we know the accounting role has changed significantly for the better. We know how interesting and engaging the work can be. And gone are the days when accountants spend their days locked in a room, chained to a desk, dark back, smoke-filled offices, crunching numbers, drudgery of spreadsheets. Today's accountants, we know, are leading the finance function. They're at the pinnacle of the business decision-making capability, the cutting-edge technology. And yes, we need a more realistic image of today's accountants. So that is all in play here. And it speaks to, if you go to school children right now and ask them what an accountant is, very few of them will have a clue. Certainly very few of them will aspire to be an accountant unless they know somebody cool that is an accountant. So these modern day portrayals and outdated views of the profession all speak to the talent pipeline. Modern accountants play vital roles in strategic decision making, leveraging new technologies, advanced technology, analytics that drive business insights, and they're at the forefront of all kinds of new areas. Sustainability reporting, the ESG stuff, the data security, compliance, all the new regulations coming out. But this message is not communicated very well to the outside world, to the graduates out there, the undergraduates, looking at what qualifications to take, what degrees to take, what's going to help them in the real world, what's going to engage them. They're less excited by a career for life. These young people today, they're looking for careers that are more than financial stability. They're more than security. They want stuff that's fulfilling, that's, dare I say, dynamic, impactful, engaging. They want some autonomy, flexibility in their role. That's slightly different. But the accounting profession is either not delivering this or it's struggled to convey these attributes, leading many people to leach out of accounting, certainly accounting in practice, maybe go into accounting in industry, in business, or go into tech, or start doing their own thing, maybe even start doing their own accounting firm. But they're choosing alternative career paths, finance, technology, data science, marketing, other things like that. So one of the big challenges in filling the pipeline is the perception problem. Another is barriers to entry. When I looked at this other article here, it was, what are the barriers to entry to accounting? Well, there's a 150-hour requirement, which is a US thing specifically, but it's asking accountants to do more beyond their qualification to stay current. Accounting is perceived as boring. The compensation is lower than for other majors like finance and legal and technology. The lack of diversity is a big barrier to accounting. The cost of education is too high. That's for a lot of degrees now. That's not just accounting. The accounting major is perceived as far too specialized. That's an interesting one, isn't it? To what degree do we pigeonhole accountants in saying this is accounting? Is accounting as a word itself the problem? Because the finance function perhaps has more kudos, more relevant, and more applicability in the world of business than pure accounting debits and credits. Enrollments in higher education are declining. That's true for accounting, but it's true of a lot of degrees as well. So I'm not going to weigh on that too much. But we've got being a certified accountant, a chartered accountant, whatever you want to call it, requires a huge amount of education, dedication, examination, and it puts a lot on accountants. And beyond that, the stuff you have to do to be relevant in today's accounting roles, you've got to be great leaders, great communicators, great presenters, great negotiators. You've got to be good networkers, maybe good rainmakers and business builders. You've got to be good technologists. You've got to not necessarily write code, but as well as your technical brilliance, you've got to have all these other people skills. You've got to have these analytical skills. And the path to certification and these stringent requirements beyond the technical stuff can be really, really daunting. And there's no wonder potential candidates are discouraged from going into accounting, even delaying their entry into any kind of graduate talent ladder. Then there's the financial burden, isn't there, with taking a degree. Starting salaries for accountants, particularly in public accounting or private practice, are lower than those with similar educational requirement. I'm looking at a stat here from CPA Practice Advisor. So in fields like finance and technology, the starting salaries are 20 to 30% higher than in accounting. And this disparity, combined with at least the perceived demanding nature of the work, there's long hours during busy seasons. Everyone talks about these peak seasons in accounting, and we don't do ourselves any favors, make it a less attractive option for many graduates. So that is in play. What else have we got going on? Work-life balance, job satisfaction. People coming into the world of work today are not interested in that security and that pension and even that partner model, dare I say. They want work-life balance. They want well-being, and the long hours, the high-pressure environments, the risk mitigation that is in accounting. You've got to get it right. We've had a lot of, say a lot, that sounds pejorative. We've had a few scandals on badly done audits, people making mistakes, working really long hours, dropping the ball. So tax season, audit cycles, there's this perception of a public accounting grind that leads to high levels of burnout, job dissatisfaction, leaving the field, shifting to different accounting roles that offer better work-life balance. So that is definitely part of the mix here, is this balance, this mental well-being, mental health, job satisfaction. Now, I want to talk in a future episode about what's being done to address some of these challenges. There's advisory groups, the AICPA have done one. The ACCA in the UK recently launched their big research project on talent. So this solution's being put forward. Now, whether these are the right solutions, whether they're going to make a difference, I did see one disparaging article commentating on the AICPA's recommendations to get more graduates into the profession. And the criticism was that that's going to help the pipeline in 5 to 10 years, but it's not going to help it next week. It's not going to help it next month or even next year when me as an accounting firm owner say, I need talent right now. Now, Jeff Phillips and I have spoken about if you are willing and able to embrace remote working in the accounting world, you don't have a talent problem. Accounting Fly gets 1,000 resumes every week of accountants looking for remote work. And that's just in the US. So if you are willing to be broad-minded in that and adjust your tech and your culture and everything else to embrace that, then you've definitely got a chance. So recognizing that many governing bodies, professional associations, state societies are working hard to dispel these stereotypes, to promote a more attractive accounting career choice, then we'll see what they come out with, and we will address that in a future episode. But I just want to make a call to action to the accountants out there, the industry leaders, because it's not about the education, it's not about the degrees, it's not about the certification pathways in themselves. It's about the firms and the leaders and the bright lights within those firms to play a role in telling better stories, making the profession more attractive. Obviously, offering competitive salaries, fostering inclusivity, supportive workplace cultures, offering hybrid working, good career progression opportunities, flexible working arrangements, investing in professional development, work-life balance, promotion. All of these are in play for the accounting firm leaders and owners. But ultimately, everybody in play, and me as an accounting influencer, I talk to people on our podcast all the time, accounting influencer podcast, as well as this talent one, to say, can we tell a better story? And the answer is, yeah, we must do a better job of marketing ourselves. We need to showcase the value that accountants bring to businesses and society at large, beyond the number crunching and that historical focus and that emphasis on compliance. Accountants are the guardians of data, the advocates of business, and the advisors that help guide strategic decisions. Yes, ensuring compliance with ever-changing complex regulations, but accountants preserve the integrity of business. It's a super important role. and it's a largely unrecognized role. So just as I conclude this episode, we seem to be at a crossroads, a fork in the road, a pivotal moment, however you want to call it. The challenges this profession faces are significant, but not unsurmountable. There is hope. There are entrepreneurial accountants and influencers doing a huge amount, and some very good people in professional organizations, associations, trying to move the dial on this. There's a lot of talk, a lot of rhetoric, but trying to address the perception issues, the lowering the barriers to entry, getting more people involved, improving conditions in the workplace, embracing diversity. All of these things are in play to ensure that a new generation of accountants and talented professionals come in. So this is a call to action to end this episode, to educators, to influencers, to industry leaders, to vendors, to all the different stakeholders, particularly in firms, to come together and reimagine what a 21st century accountant should be. That is my manifesto in this episode. Thanks for joining me on this episode of the Accounting Talent Podcast, going out on YouTube, our Accounting Influencers YouTube channel. We'll be continuing this conversation in future episodes, but get in touch with me on LinkedIn. Let's continue the debate. We might even get you on one of our accounting talent panels. Let's work together to secure the future of this profession. There are many factors that would undermine the role of accountants, bookkeepers, accounting professionals. And so make sure you subscribe to the show. And if you've enjoyed the episode, do share it with your friends. And let's keep pushing the boundaries of what is possible in accounting. Have a great day.